Hey. All right. Get this all straightened out. All right. My name's Noah. I am with Scorestone Strategies, and here's our 5th podcast episode. It's Noah Lee. And then I'm joined with
Jonathan.
Jonathan from?
I work at MTX Realty. It's based out of Rockwall.
Okay, awesome. So, I guess we'll get straight into it. What is your kind of like origin story? Like, how'd you get into real estate?
So whenever I was a kid, I've always been very talkative when it comes to random strangers, people, kids, adults, everything. So when I grew up, I always grew up in like when I was going to see my family and stuff like that, it was always the youngest. When I say youngest, I don't mean like, oh, I was the youngest, instead of like, oh, I was 8, older person was 18, I was 15. No, it was like the youngest person in the room was maybe 35, and I was like maybe 8 or 9. So I've always grown up very well talking to adults, like really, really well. I was going to grow up talking to adults really well, so it kind of just stuck. Just talking to adults, basically.
Okay. All right, awesome. So you kind of grew up, talking to adults, everything like that, and then that kind of transferred over as well to like other people your age, and then you were like kind of moved forward into real estate. And this is your first type of like sales, right?
It is. It's my first type of sales job. Everything else has been either restaurants or just basic, just movie theater when I was a kid, stuff like that. But this is the first big leap into the big old pot, basically.
Okay, awesome. So another thing is like, how did like the service-based industry, like doing like serving, how was that, like how did those kind of skills transfer over to real estate?
So they transferred over really well, actually. So
for real,
when I was a kid, I started working there when I started waitering. I was maybe 17 and some change, almost 18 basically. So when I started working there, I got really well at talking to people, reading them very well, seeing basically when I see a customer, I'll look at them first. I'll look at them. I'll sit down and I'll look at them. I'll say to myself, how would they want to be served? In my mind, basically as quick as I can. How do they want to hear their server? They want to hear them talk slow, very polite, very, very cordial, very yes sir, no sir. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going today? Basically, whatever they want to hear in my brain, I'll try to just relay it to them. And then as I talk to them more and more, I'll say, oh, maybe they didn't like that. Let me switch over a little bit, and I'll kind of coast in with them. So certain customers, basically, I don't use the one-size-fits-all. Every customer gets his own individual kind of experience, you could say. Say if it's like it's 2 60-year-olds, a couple, very cordial. Hello, my name's Jonathan. Do you know what you like to eat today? Maybe we'll start with the drink today. Maybe just 2 water to start with. So you're still looking over the menus. If it's kids, hey, how's it going today, man? We want to drink water? We want to drink Coke? Man, I got Sprite. I got whatever you want, man. What are you thinking about today? Basically, whatever I think they want to hear is what they're going to get.
Okay, cool. I know when I was going door to door, I would always be like, try on like different accents and stuff. Would you try on different accents?
Not really accents, but I would definitely go into the like I would talk more formal, more laid back, like a cool kid, basically just kind of however I thought they want to be served is what they would get. And usually it worked out pretty well. I made pretty good money as a kid. Like just serving. I guess I graduated in 2020, so I went through the COVID epidemic. So my last 6 months of high school, I could do a whole week's worth amount of work and maybe a day, maybe a couple hours, because then the system set up back then. So basically, I would do a week's worth of schoolwork, couple hours. After a couple hours, I would just work the whole week. I was making like, at my age, that was great money. But nowadays, it's whatever. But when I was a kid, it was kids still in high school making.
Oh yeah, for sure.
$1,200 a week, almost. I mean, that's above the average salary now. Making almost like what, $4-5 a month. Still in high school, still passing my classes, A's and B's, a little bit of C's. I mean, you can't complain. You're making that kind of money, still technically still in high school. You can't complain about that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Making $5,000 a month in high school is pretty nuts.
Pretty stellar.
Pretty nuts. Okay. Do you think like making that type of money in your type of age bracket kind of inspired you to make that same type of money in the age bracket? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I think what is the number? I've looked at the chart before. It's what I think, and from 0 to
like
24,
above
like
the median.
18 grand. I think it's the average for like a 0 to 24-year-old, something like that. It's not a lot. It's pretty easy to go past it, but most kids are in college, so you can't really go off that. When you start getting into like the 25 to 30, 35, 40, that's when you're going into like the 1% is 100 grand. 500 grand, $1 million. You start crunching those numbers higher and higher as you go up in the age demographics, stuff like that. But at my age, making that kind of money at my age, I thought it was, dude, I could control the world that much. I mean, I thought making that much money at my age. I mean, no one else made that kind of money at my age. No one else did, or at least that I knew of that I was friends with. And I was, how can someone my age make this much money? Is it really easy making this much money? Is it really this easy? And as I got older and older, I was like, money's sitting there waiting for us to grab. just grab it. That's all you do. Just grab it. It's sitting there waiting for you. Just go take that leap of faith. And if you want to do real estate, if you want to do any kind of marketing, stuff like that, just take that leap of faith and run with it. Because at the end of the day, make those mistakes when you're young, not when you're older. When you're young, you have time to mistakes. You know the family. You don't have, hopefully you don't have no one that depends on you at super young age. But if you do, it's one other situation. But at a young age, you have those time to make mistakes. Make them when you're young. Don't invest in that crazy crypto when you're 45 and your kids depend on you and it hits the fan. And then, oh, wow, my kids can't eat today. Oh, wow, my kids are living in an apartment today. That's not where you want to be. You know what I mean? So make those risks when you're young. Don't make them when you're old. It's hard
For sure.
when you're old. A lot harder, at least.
We got another dude in the background just over there smirking. But definitely make those type of risks when you're young, because like you can't. There's nothing you can like. You fuck up and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. When your kids are
you can always go home.
Exactly.
You can always go home.
If you have a good situation, if everything goes your way, hopefully you still have parents that love you and stuff like that. They'll still take you in. You know what I mean? Not everyone has that. Not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone has that luxury. It's at the end of the day, I mean, you're dealt a certain hand in life. You gotta do what you got dealt. You know what I mean? Everyone has their hardships. It's always that day old saying. If you threw your cards into a table, you'd be the first one to grab yours right back. When you look at everyone else's problems in the world, you'd be the first person to grab them. You know what I mean? So there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, I mean, anger and everything like that just comes from arrogance. I mean, literally.
At my age too, making that kind of money, I had a way too big of an ego at that age. I think it's too mean. I thought I was better than other people. It ruined relationships. It ruined a lot of other stuff for me because I was, I'm this big. I make tons of money. I mean, adults don't make this kind of money. I'm still in high school, this and that, and some money started going to my head, and then of course you get your bad things. For money, money can be a good and a very bad thing at the same time. It just your whole life shouldn't be money, money, money. Usually shouldn't be, but at the end of the day, I mean, it can do good things and do bad things, just like anything in life. There's always too much of something. There's always too little of something. There can always be an issue.
You never want to have too little, and you always never want to have. But like having enough, like getting to that point, I think it's just like detaching, because money's just energy.
It is. At the end of the day, money's just this thing we have that creates status. It creates, it can create better things for certain people, but it also creates worse things. So I mean, say if you have a girl, you take her out to a really nice restaurant, and say, "Wow, I never had this experience," and stuff like that. And you can take that, in one perspective and say, "Oh, wow, I showed her a new outlet to the world. That makes me happy." Or you can take another perspective where it's like, "Oh, yes, she needs me. She's not shit without me." And then you go into a deep, dark rabbit hole, and that ruins everything. So there's two ways to look at two ways to cut the puzzle in every way. You know what I mean? So.
Okay. Well, we were talking about this before we even got on here. I don't know. We might clip it, but like, what is like the craziest story that you've ever had when you're like cold calling, trying to get clients?
So this is actually hilarious. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad. This is really...
I'm ready for it.
So the guy sitting behind the camera was actually sitting with him when this happened. We both took a double take at each other. We just kind of looked at each other. We were like, oh, wow, they just said this on the phone to me, and they don't even really know me. This is insane. So I was doing a cold call one day, as I kind of do them throughout the day, and this one lady answered the phone. We ended up having like a 45, 50-minute conversation. We were talking and talking and talking. She told me, I was like, I didn't ask for her race and like that, but she told me, she's like, oh yeah, like I'm a white lady or Hispanic, like something like that. It's been a while, and she was telling me, oh yeah, this and that. Like I live in like a Mesquite, I live in Mesquite, Texas, whatever. I was like, oh, that's nice, it's not a bad area, not a great area, just a normal area, perfectly fine. And she was like, yeah, I'm looking for something more subtle, more, kind of tucked away in the bushes. I was like, oh, there's Royce City. There's always going to be, fate. You are pushing out farther and further from the, inner cities. You're going to have regular, just more subtle living and stuff like that. However you want to slice it. Some people like the country living. Some people like the city living. Either way, it's still a home I can put you in at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I can still put you in a home. Either way you slice it, I can put you in a home. Either way. So, and we end up talking more and more. And she's like, oh, yeah, I have 3 kids. Oh, you're looking for a 4-bedroom, all this and that. And then she proceeds to tell me, oh, yeah, living in Mesquite, I'm getting kind of tired of it. Like, what if I want to be a renter? And I was like, oh, like, you be a renter? She's like, no, I want to get a property and rent it out, like, to create passive income. I was like, oh, that's really, really good. You can do that 100%. There's Airbnbs, there's just traditional renting out. However you want to do it, there's a lot of different ways to, slice and dice it. But after a while, she basically asked me straight up front. She was like, oh, hey, what's the way I can say no to people? I was like, oh, well, you're supposed to just go off credit scores, off of actual legitimate reasons. You can't go off, race, religion, ethnicity, stuff like that, which is 100% fair and 100% is the way you should go through business. You shouldn't focus anything on certain colors, race, ethnicity, stuff like that. It's terrible. She proceeded to tell me, oh, I really just don't want, what if I want to rent out, I just don't want, a certain ethnicity of people live there, and she said the persons, and I was like, oh wow, she just said that, and then she said the justification was, oh, but I have 3 kids of that specific race, and I was like, oh wow, she just asked me about that, and she basically said, oh, can I just like rent out, but like I don't want to rent out to specifically like black people. That's what she said to me on the phone. I was like, no, she did not just say that, and I had a double take, and I was like, I was like, you're supposed to go off only credit and this credit and a valid reason. That's not really a valid reason. That's a really big way to get into a lot of trouble. Plus, your ethical dilemma in that too. I was like, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. And then after the phone call the next day, I called my broker and like, well, I was like, what? She said this. I mean, should I still work with her? And she's like, well, just make sure you're a smart guy. Just at the end of the day, I mean, you can still work with her as a client, but definitely like if she's going in a rabbit hole, you do not go down that rabbit hole. And I was like, of course I wouldn't, regardless, but especially not going to go down a rabbit hole with someone that said something like that. I mean, it's a really, really easy way to get huge fines, huge ethnicity claims, big dealio. So that's something I ended up not working with that client because of that reason. Because the thing is too, just I'm not willing to put my ethnicity, my beliefs and risk getting in big financial troubles because of that. So that was one of the craziest so far. I ended up not working with that lady because I just didn't feel comfortable working with her because I saw it as a problem just starting to stem out that I did not want to deal with. That's not a problem I wanted to get myself involved in at all. Huge dilemma. Did not want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. 100%. That was one of the worst ones. That was a really, really bad one. But teach their own.
Yeah. Do you have any other, like, speaking of, like, going through those cold calls and everything, like, because I know a lot of people, like, literally the action threshold, that's all they just have to get past is the action threshold. So, like, even having crazy stories like that, I bet a lot of people have those, like, spiraling in their brain before they even touch the freaking phone. Oh, yeah. So how do you, like, push your, like, do you have, like, a thing where you're just like, okay, for me, it's like, I do what's required. Like, just need to do it. Like, it's required. This is what it's required to get me where I'm going. So, like, what do you do? What is, like, the thing that says in your head? Do you have a mantra? Do you have something? Like, what is it?
For me, it's just, I mean, my broker always had a good saying when it comes down to stuff like this. It's just like, I mean, you can talk to hundreds of people every day. There's potential clients everywhere you look, but there's just one of those things where just sometimes these clients are just not going to work best for you. And it's just best to, it's hard passing down money. It really is hard sometimes. But at the end of the day, when you actually look at the long road, it's just think about the long term. At the end of the day, it probably is not going to be best to work with a certain person because of this certain reason. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, if it's because they said a very vulgar statement to you on the phone, whether they don't want to tell you information about themselves, whether they're being really kind of hostile on the phone, like they want to work with you, but then they're also like being super like they don't want to tell you about their lives. Basically, my broker explained it best. Whenever they're basically, if you're talking to them and you're saying, hey, what kind of home do you live in? Walk me through a day in your life, kind of walk them through that. And they're, oh, I do this and that. I kind of go to work, this and that. Like, you have to kind of slow them down and be like, hey, look, I'm here to help you. I want to help you. You want to help me. We're in the same boat in here. If you don't want to talk to me, give me this information, I can't really do nothing for you. And at the end of the day, if you don't want to talk to me, I can't make you talk to me. It's just the way it is. I can't make you talk to me, and that's just the way it is, and I can't help you with that. But it's just the way it is.
Well, that was kind of like what like, I mean, as in before you get on the phone, like to get mental prep for getting on the phone. What can somebody like look at this and be like, hey, how do I mentally prep for getting on these phone calls?
At the end of the day, people are going to be vile on the phones. People are going to be horrendous in the phones. Other bad stories. I had a little cold call system set up. Not legal anymore. SEC got me right. Not legal anymore. Basically auto dialer. Call them up, drop a phone call, went straight to voicemail. They got a voicemail. They call me back. They might not. Is the end of the day. Those are no more legal, so that's always fun. But when I had that in place, I'd have people, I send out messages, and understandably, if someone takes you out of the blue and it's kind of annoying, I understand. It is annoying and stuff like that. I've had some pretty vulgar statements thrown my way, but at the end of the day, I have to know that I'm doing a business, I'm kind of bothering, infringing on their day. They're not going to be happy about it half the time, so I have to know that. I have to understand that it's a tough game. People are going to be very mean to you in the phones, and that's just the way it is. Other times, I get people that are, hey, I'm not really interested, but, maybe down the road I am. And I was like, that's perfect. Keep my number. If not, I understand. It's very nice speaking to you. Like, you as well, very nice. Phone calls like that are the best to me, because at the end of the day, possibly creating a pipeline for down the road. I have good positive phone calls, so it keeps your dopamine up, keeps you feeling like you're doing a good thing, keeps your serotonin up, everything like that. But other times you get people that are just like, for instance, I text this lady one day, or I have an auto dialer go out, and they said, cursing at me, saying this and that, and they just blew up my phone, just texting every letter send, over and over again, to where it kept blowing up my phone. And I was like, okay, like at the end of the day, they have the right to do that. I texted them, they have the right to text me and blow me up if they want. Is it productive for their day? Maybe not. But if they want to do that, that's their God-given right. They're more than glad to do that if they'd like to. And at the end of the day, it's the way it is. I texted people today, actually, and I got a, obscenity you can kind of fill in the blank, but I got an obscenity you, like, what are you doing? Don't bother me. You're fugazi, you're fugazi, you're faking me out here, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's
get a real job.
That's like the number one most thing I get hit with. Oh, get a real job. At the end of the day, on the receiving end, it looks like I'm just some guy trying to fuck them over out of money, but in reality, I'm just trying to help. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help them maybe get a new home, maybe not get a new home, maybe look at a new property. Even just looking at basic market analysis is good for someone. Just say, hey, I don't want to buy a home, but I'm curious. Curiosity gets the best of me. What is a home going for? What's the average home in my area going for? Maybe if I do own a home, if I did want to sell tomorrow, what am I looking at? Because it's just good to know the information. To be like, oh, hey, the market spiked up, all the interest spiked up. I wonder why. Let's look in the government. Oh, they're doing this and that. They're trying to slow down people buying, so they spike the rates up. It's good to know that kind of thing, just for future reference. Because at the end of the day, it's better to have knowledge and not use it than to not have knowledge and then try to use knowledge you don't have. You want to have knowledge in your background. You want to know at least the premise of, if you're looking at a home or you own a home, you want to know, what is my home doing right now? Other than me living in it, what is it doing for me? What is the positive or the negative? I think it's too, I always encourage people, do your research. I can do research every day and find homes for you, but at the end of the day, if I ask you, hey, how many bedrooms do you actually need? You're like, oh, well, I have 3 kids, but I could put them together in a room, or, oh, I could have grandma come over. Like, you have to think about those things beforehand. Just little basic knowledge like that goes a long ways when talking to someone, especially when I help you find a home, because I don't want to have to sit there all day with you and say, okay, well, does grandma need a room? Does grandma sleep on the floor? Does grandma need to sleep in the attic?
Yeah.
Grandma sleep in the basement? Like, well, what are we doing here, man? Like, I need to figure it out to try to help you in the best way possible. Because the thing is, too, I have a standard, it's, what's the saying? It's essence of time. I'm trying to get you in a place you want to go in the best time possible for you and for me. Because the thing is, too, if you're giving me all the good information and I'm just like dragging my feet, not texting you, being a bad agent, go take me up to court and get your money out of me. Because the thing is, too, if I'm being a bad agent, that's on me. Take my money because I'm being a bad agent. But the thing is, there's time of the essence where you need to be doing certain things in time of essence. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, too, there's partial performance where, say, for instance, in a contract, whenever you say it's like, oh, I need to have this much money down by this much time. But then they did all the other stuff like, oh, make sure the home's prepped, do this and stuff like that. If they do all that, but then they miss on one thing, you can sue them and get out of the contract, or at least get your earnest money back, stuff like that. You can do it happens every day. It happens all the time because people are lazy, man. It's just the way it is. People drag their feet. Even if they're trying to sell something, if they're trying to buy something, people drag their feet. And the thing is, too, it happens to everyone. You say if something bad happened in your life, you're gonna drag your feet a little bit. But we do need to. We got motion. We need to go. We got motion. We need to move through things. So
I got another question for you. So I think it's like a crazy statistic of like 90% of like real estate agents like fail or something like that. What is the like, what do you have in place for like planning that, and also what inputs are you putting in so you can get the outputs that you deserve?
Exactly. The thing is, too, when it comes to real estate, you see other people, oh, you see TikToks and stuff like that. Oh, I made $1 million this year. Oh, I made $10 million this year. Those are your heavy hitter 1%ers. Don't go on a real estate thinking you're going to make money tomorrow. You're not. You're not going to make any money tomorrow. You're not going to make money the next day. Maybe you have grandma waiting for you as soon as you get your license. She's like, sell my home, and you sell and you make $30K. That's a possibility. Of course it is. But if you're going this fresh with you have no idea, your mom or dad wasn't in real estate, your family wasn't in real estate, and you need to work this out yourself, just know it's going to be 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years before you get that one lucky break. They recommend you to their friends saying, dude, this guy was insane. He got my home sold for top dollar as quick as possible. This guy does not play around. This guy is on a heavy hitter mission. You'll get stuff like that. You know what I mean? Those are your heavy hitters. At the end of the day, if you want to work a job where you clock in, clock out, make your money, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Working a 9 to 5, I'll never discriminate against that. My dad does that. Most anyone's parents do that. It's honest living. I'll never discriminate against that. But if you want to make a ton of money up front, this is not the field to go to. Go look at scams or go look at something else, because this is not quick money up front. It is going to take a while to build those pipeline, build the leads, build the connections. But after a while, if you keep staying through, you commit to it, you don't quit, you just keep going hard every day, you're going to make money. It's just the way it is. I mean, there was a famous podcaster, I forgot his name now, Garrett something. He's on YouTube and stuff like that. But he said it was almost a year and a half, 6 months, a year, something like that. He was showing a home one day. It was a really expensive home in California. One day, someone came in, talked to him. He said, I like you. You remind me of me when I was a kid trying to make money. And he ended up selling him a home. And that was like a home for he made like a $500,000 in commission or some crazy number just because the guy liked him. He liked his personality. He reminded him when he was a kid. Stuff like that is just, you're not going to get that every day. You got to get the right spot at the right time. And then at the end of the day, the only way you can do that is just keep doing it over and over again, and eventually you'll be at the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, of course. You're creating your own luck. The one cool thing that you said before then was that you were talking about your dad and how he worked at 95, and then so do you think one of my personal opinions is that as we move forward, like even in our generation, that we're going to move into more of an independent contractor society where we're more independent and less like, everyone working for each other. Do you kind of agree with that? Like, because you even said like you said your dad, and then you're like most people's parents are doing that. Yeah. So it could just be like because we're the younger generation, so we can take more risks, but it could also be, hey, we're moving into more of like an independent contractor thing. What's kind of your stance? What do you think?
So the thing is with independent contractors, people can do it. You can do it every day of the week. Everyone can be it's a hard thing to say because I'm never going to kill someone's dream and say, hey, look, not everyone can be a business owner. Don't be a business owner. The same way no NBA player wants to tell another kid, you can't be in the NBA and kill his dreams. But at the end of the day, statistics and real life things have to kick in for you. And at the end of the day, there has to be people to lay the roads. There has to be people that watch your plumbing. There has to be electricians that watch the energy grid. There's going to have to be those people. And that's just the end of the day. If you want a functioning society where you can flush your toilet, turn on your blow dry your hair, and go to work, it's not just, oh, it's on today. Like, people overlook those things. Like, oh, it just happens. No, it doesn't just happen. It takes hundreds and thousands of people working simultaneously at the right time to create that.
But even with those people, they could become independent contractors. Like, plumbers can become independent. People, like, the majority of the workforce could become independent contractors.
They could be. I mean, at the end of the day, it keeps from monopolizing. At the end of the day, if there was tons of plumbers,
a lot of monopolies are falling.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, if you want to go call your plumber, everyone knows a plumber's going to charge you a lot of money. It's just the way it is. Because it takes their
he got mouths to feed.
Yeah, they got mouths to feed. They've done this for years. If they're a master plumber, they're going to charge you top dollar because they know what they're doing. You can pay someone $50 and they're probably going to mess your stuff up worse, or you pay someone $40 an hour and you're going to get your stuff done as fast as you can, on time, and it's going to get fixed right the first time, usually. But at the end of the day, people could do that at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, to be an independent contractor, you can do that, but usually there's got to be someone that works under you. There always has to be. If you want to retire, there's got to be people that work under you, and that's just the way it is. There's always going to be people that are going to want to, they say, hey, look, I can make a ton of money, but I'd rather spend time. I value time at home with my family more than I do a business, and so I'd rather just be a regular worker and enjoy my wife, my kids, and I'd rather be able to go to basketball games and not have to worry about, hey, is my company going to go under tomorrow if I don't make the right phone call tonight? You know what I mean? So some people just don't want that stress, and that's 100% fair. And I think it's too. Some days I don't want stress, but I do it because I know I need to. But at the end of the day, some people just don't want stress, and that's 100% okay if they don't want stress. If they don't want that, that's their personal beliefs. But if I want to make a ton of money, usually the harder you work, the more money you're going to make.
The bigger your problems, the bigger the paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's too, like Elon Musk says too, he was like, you get paid off of the intensity of the problem you solve. So basically, if you solve mediocre problems, you're going to get mediocre pay. If you solve intricate, very complex problems, you're going to make top dollar. Like these COs and stuff like that, companies like CFOs, stuff like that, they don't get paid to look pretty most of the time, you know what I mean? But they get paid top dollar to make 6 insanely hard decisions a year instead of making hundreds and hundreds of simple decisions. They get paid heavy money to make 1 to 6 big, heavy decisions that will affect the company tenfold every year. And the thing is, too, as long as they make the right decisions, they get paid out. If they don't make the right decisions, new CFO time, you know what I mean? New CEO, you know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
So this is a unique spot for you because I know you first started getting into real estate. How long ago?
I'm still newer. I've not been in it for a long, long time. Maybe 6 months. So not a long time, but at least a little bit more than the average.
Yeah, but you're sticking through it, which is it's totally admirable.
Exactly.
Admirable. So even right now, I mean, I'd love to in the future, like in that year point when you get to it, I'd like to have another like another interview just like this.
Yeah.
So like, what can people expect from you in 6 months? Like, what can people expect in the future?
In 6 months, I like to have a couple more homes sold and stuff like that. More clients under my belt, more experience to share to other people just like this. Because the thing is too, I'm limited to what I can share. I can't give you too many. Like, I can't give you so much experience and advice because I'd be lying to you, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna start making up stories about how I've sold this many homes, I've turned this many people. That's the thing I want to do.
But you have a unique perspective.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone has their own perspectives in life and stuff like that. I have one where I'm coming into real estate in a heightened market. You know what I mean? Where everything's slowing down. So the thing is too, everyone's take on it is their own at the end of the day, but. I mean, in 6 months, I'd like to have more homes sold, more clients I talk to. I mean, have better and higher connections. At the end of the day, that's just the most important part is just talking to people, getting stronger connections, and just at the end of the day, go to those social interaction groups. Go to like that new club you want to go to and just chat them up. Don't make it forced. Don't say, hey, I'm just here to sell you real estate. That's all I'm here for. Like, don't make it forced. I mean, hopefully you actually go to things you want to do, but at the end of the day, oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, I do real estate. Oh, that's really neat. Like, I've actually been looking at home, kind of in the Dallas area. I live in, Fort Worth. Like, oh, you want to look? I can show you some stuff. Like, don't make it forced, obviously, because then it's just, it's so shallow of a friendship, Actually make it a real friendship, but you can also introduce business in another way, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, say if I have all my LinkedIn, I have all my stuff all set up and stuff like that, and if people say, oh, Jonathan Perla, I know that guy's name, man, look him up. If you look my name up, you'll see, oh, this guy's on this. You instantly tell I'm a realtor. There's no, is he a real estate agent? Is he a plumber? No, it's no confusion. I am a real estate agent. It's listed everywhere, everything I do. You can know, you know what I mean? So half the time, just say, hey, my name's Jonathan Perla, nice to meet you, man. That was super cool. Oh, let me add you on Snapchat. Let me add you on Facebook. Let me add you on Instagram. If you add me, oh, he's a real estate agent. I don't have to say it half the time. It's just, oh, we're cool, we're friends and stuff like that. Let me add you, or let me get some of your social media, let me get your Facebook, and you add them. Oh, he does real estate. He didn't really mention that, but maybe I need a home. Maybe I'll text him about that one day. Maybe I'll mention it in a conversation one day, and you never know where it can go at the end of the day.
You're building your pipeline.
Exactly. At the end of the day, the pipeline's the most important part because that's what will save you. The referral game in real estate is stellar. That is where you make your money at, is selling those homes, having the connections, having them go to their friends, say, this guy got me right. This guy's not playing around. This guy got me in a home twice as fast as I thought he would. This guy gave me the right home I wanted for the right price point, not paying the super steep HOA fees and stuff like that. Like, we want to work the best for you to get the best, happiness out of your life at the end of the day. Because, getting a home is the American dream. Everyone's, we want to own a home. You want to own something. You don't want to live under your landlord the rest of your life. If you do, it's completely fine. Renting is perfectly fine. I'll help you there too. But, yeah. Owning a home is liberating. That you can walk in your backyard, open your door, mow your grass, let your dogs roam free, and just look up in the air and say, like, this is mine, what I'm standing on. I can feel that. Like, this is mine, what I'm standing on. It's not someone else's. If I want to step outside and build a pool here tomorrow, if I got the money to, build a pool. Obviously, city ordinance and stuff like that. But within reasonable means, you can do what, you please in your own home. You know what I mean? You're not limited to, hey, the neighbors call, you're too loud, honey, you may be quiet, the kids need to quiet down a little bit, the neighbors on top are complaining too much, or the neighbors below are complaining too much. Like, you don't have to deal with stuff like that. You have the peace of mind saying, if my kids want to scream their head off within reason, they can do that without having to know that, the neighbor downstairs, hey, can you please quiet it down, I'm trying to sleep. Because the thing is, too, you don't want to be intrusive on their day, but also you want to have the freedom to be able to do that and not have someone knock on your door and saying, hey, please shut up, basically.
Yeah. So what kind of, like, even in my mind where you're saying that, what are some interesting facts about real estate that you've learned from your perspective of getting into it? Like, what are some, like, things for the viewer, like some interesting facts?
100%. So the thing is, too, when you're picking your broker, when you're going through the school and stuff like that, because me personally, whenever, I'll be honest on the podcast, when I was a kid, I tried doing my real estate classes when I was maybe 17, 18. No, I used to be at least 18. So 18 and a half, maybe barely 19. And I was a stupid kid. All I cared about, cars, girls, doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? That's all I cared about. So the thing is, too, I did a little bit of real estate, but then I gave up. And I was like, oh, man, I feel bad for not doing it. I wanted to do it. And after a while, I did another job, and it was a really big reality check to me. I did really hard. I did like a warehouse job, and I worked 60 plus hours. 60, 70 plus hours a week, continually 12, 13, 14 hour days, 5, 6 days of the week. And I was like, I'm making good money, but this was a big reality call. I was like, I don't want to do this. This really is, I just don't like it. Like, I want to talk to you. I can't just sit here not talking, running around all day. I want to talk to people. I want to get to know people. I want to just get myself out there. And so I was like, I need to do this real estate thing. I just have to do it. I can't do it anymore. I just cannot do this anymore. I'm tired of it. And so then I said, I sat down myself and I said, I'm going to do these classes and I'm going to finish this time. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit it like everyone else does. I'm going to do it this time. And I finished my classes and it was the best feeling that overcame me. At the end of the day, when I sell a home or somewhere else, it'll be a better feeling. But that day when you finish your classes, you pass that final test, because that test is hard. That real estate test is hard. It is no joke. If you study your real estate really, really well and you know all the things, because a lot of it is just memorization, but it's also like they want to know the nitty and gritty. So the thing is too, it's almost like a lawyer. If they ask you a question, say, hey, if red is red, why is it red? You need to be able to say, what is the color red and how did you find the color red and where did the color red originate from? They want to know like the answer plus extra. They want to know the nitty and gritty. And that's on the state side. National isn't that hard. The national one, I passed it first try. It was really simple. Because the thing is too, on the test, it doesn't say how much you passed by. All it says pass or fail. On the state side, I had to try it a couple times. It was actually a little hard for me, not going to lie. Because that one's a lot more of the lawyer. How did you get the answer? Why is the answer correct? Who's found the answer? Like, it's just a lot of, you either really, really know it or you don't know it and you're going to fail it. So it's very complex. I mean, a lot of other agents, they'll pass their first try. I'm not a great test taker. I'm not going to blame it on that, but I'm not a good test taker. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it really just comes down to memorization, pay attention to your studies. Like for me, I filled up probably 4 or 5 like spiral notebooks full of notes. The whole time, when you jot in information, when you actually write it down, it helps stick in your head better. At least for me, chewing gum helps information stick better. That goes to anyone in school, even college, elementary school, high school, whatever it is. It just helps out stuff like that. So, at the end of the day, study your test, do good work on your schoolwork. I mean, really have passion behind it, and the information is to stick really well.
Awesome, yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, I got a few more questions for you. So, even saying that, because I know through this whole interview, you've expressed the fact that you're gonna keep moving towards this, and it's really not. You've kind of burned the boats pretty much. Yeah. So, interesting perspective. I know you work out a bit. Yeah. How is like working out and like staying through that? Because you've been getting pretty big. Like what have you seen the similarities that have transferred over to like business from working out?
Exactly. So, men or women, it goes the exact same thing when it comes to stuff like this. If you keep your mind disciplined and you put in the work and you go in there, because the thing is too, working it's the same way. It's not instant gratification. It's not flipping open TikTok. It's not, grabbing that illicit substance. It's not instant gratification like a lot of those things are. It's delayed gratification. That's the most important thing I could ever teach anyone or ever even just mention anyone is delayed gratification is so important to being a human being. Because the thing is too, we live in a world where it's I want it now, I want my food now, DoorDash or whatever, I want everything right now, I can't wait 30 seconds, I need it now. And it's really bad because the thing is too, life is not going to give you handouts the whole life. Maybe you got a good family starting up in life, maybe you got easy life and stuff like that, maybe your parents made a good amount of money, you got to get a kickback and stuff like that. But one day, mom and dad aren't going to always be there to help you. It's just the way it is, and it's always going to be like that. So when it comes to gym, you have to discipline yourself. You got to eat those meals, or you have to not eat those certain things, depending on where you're starting out in your fitness career and stuff like that. You have to discipline yourself. Don't eat those things, or really eat those things. Go to gym. At the end of the day, you want to be in a mindset or a place to where on your worst days, you can outbeat people on their best days. That's the most important thing you could ever put yourself through. You really outshine, not outshine in a bad way, but definitely you should be able to get up one day and be in a terrible mood, terrible space, your girlfriend just left you, your parents, maybe one of your parents passed away, this and that, and still get up and say, I know I need to do this, it's going to suck, but I know that I have to do this because it's something I need to do. And you get up and go to the gym, and when you go to the gym, or you get off that business call, or you get out of that bad environment, and you finally get to relax a little bit, it feels so much more gratifying because you delayed it, and it feels that much better. And at the end of the day, when you work out consistently 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, a year, whatever it is, over and over again, when you finally look in the mirror one day, you're like, wow, this is crazy. I look at photos of myself because I started as a really skinny guy and I got bigger. I'll look at photos and I was like, there's no way I live like this. There's no way I look like this when I was this young. There's no way I live life this small, this so. It's crazy to me. And so I look at it now and be like, it's a good thing. And I'm really happy for myself, but I don't let it overeat yourself.
What put you into that position where you were like, I need to start working out? Like, what did it for you? I mean, like, for real.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's typical guy, kind of thing.
Okay.
That
No. That's typical, dude. Come on.
At the end of the day, it's just like for me personally, I worked out when I was younger in high school. Then I kind of gave it up. I started working a job. I was like, oh, I can't do a job and go to school and work out. I could have, but I stopped. But as I got older, I mean, I hit a really low point. I was with this one girl for a very long time. And this girl a long time ago. You know what I mean? But this girl was it was a very interesting point in my life. It was very I wasn't really doing much, just kind of hanging out with this girl, not really doing much in my life. And then I got to a bad point, and then I ended up having to leave that girl because X, Y, and Z. I'm not gonna whatever. It's the other day. This girl did X, Y, and Z. I did X, Y, and Z. Whatever. And then I was sat there. And at first, the first 6 months, at least for guys, I noticed that girls it hits up front really hard, and for guys it's delayed. After 6 months, I was like, wow, like this, like I don't want to live like this. I just like wow, this is terrible. Like
what all happened? What do you?
Well, this girl, I did this girl for over 2 years. I did this girl when I was a senior in high school, like beginning all the way. Like I did this girl for like two and a half years, something like that. So then 2.5 years when you're 18 years old. I mean, you're only
long part of your life.
I think it's two things. For only like I would say high school is when you start actually kind of more becoming yourself. You kind of actually have a little more freedom. You understand, hey, this girl's cool. Hey, this girl's not so cool. I understand good and bad things. I mean, in 4 years, spending almost 2.5. I mean, it's a big chunk of your kind of more quote unquote adult life or creeping into adult life. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, that girl meant a lot to me at the time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it was a really like a hard thing. I mean, it was rocky. Although most relationships are rocky as it is, but the girl was good back in the day and stuff like that. But then, I remember this day. I would never probably leave me. Actually, I was at the warehouse when I worked at the warehouse. I was working grueling hours, and then I would get on break for like a 15-minute break, and I want to text the girl and say, hey, like good night, because I worked nights, so I was gonna tell the girl good night. And then she texted me, oh yeah, I'm not going to bed. And I was like, you at school tomorrow? And she's like, oh yeah, like I'm actually at this guy's house right now. We're watching a movie. Bro, it's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and you're watching a movie at this guy's house. And then she's already done some past stuff in the past a long time ago, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I'm over it. I can't do it anymore. So I left that girl, and then it broke me for a while. At the beginning, it wasn't that hard, but I still started working out in the beginning because I was like, you know what? I don't want to be like a sorry loser. I don't want to be like a guy that's. I want to fix myself. I want to make myself better than what I was before. Because at the end of the day, if I fix myself mentally and physically, I'm gonna feel better, and I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better at everything. So at that point, after that loss or whatever, I kind of grew up, and I was like, you know what? Like I got to get back in the gym. It's something I have to do. And I remember actually, funny enough, I went on one date with this one girl that I kind of knew her throughout high school a little bit, like we went to the same church and stuff like that. And she was actually really cool. And we went to Topgolf or something like that, playing Topgolf. And then she's like, oh yeah, I go to the gym. I was like, oh, that's so cool. She's like, oh, do you go to the gym? I'm like, oh, not much anymore. And she's like, oh, like, why don't you go to the gym? And I sat there for a split second. I was like, why don't I go to the gym? And that was in January of last year. So I've been working out for over a year and a half now, and ever since the girl mentioned it, I was like, why am I not working out? And I started working out from that point forward, and I've been healthier and healthier every day. I'm getting stronger and better, feel better. I feel amazing every day I wake up, and I know that, hey, like, if someone came into my house, if someone attacked my girl, if someone came into, like, and someone tried to, like, hurt someone close to me, I know that I would have confidence standing up and saying, like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, if you want to do that right here, we can go right now. At the end of the day, it's just having that mental fortitude to know that, like, you can stand up for yourself and say, this is not going to happen because I said so. And at the end of the day, you need to have that mental fortitude to say, hey, like, you're not going to touch any of my family members because I said so, and stand up and take that blockade. That's the whole point of being a man is, you got to stand up to, violence, stand up to those kind of things so that other people don't have to experience those kind of things.
Yeah, and a lot of people will draw a big line between, like, emotional strength and physical strength. But even from your story, and I have a similar story as well, it's like they're tied. Like when you work out, when you fight, when you do I've had people like say they're gonna pull guns on me and shit like that, and it's like, okay, cool. Now in the back of my head, I'm like, this is not as bad as I've been through. This is easy. I'm walking on cake right now.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I mean, I think it just is what it is. If someone's pull a gun on you, they're more than going to do that. I think it's too, as long as you have the mental fortitude behind it. I mean, at the end of the day, if they don't have the mental fortitude, they're shaking, they don't really want to do it, and you stand up and say, look, you don't want to do this right now, dude. Like, go home. Like, you don't want to do this. More than 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to go to jail for this. This is stupid. And they walk away. If you get a real hardened guy, you're kind of fucked, bro. It's just straight up. You're screwed. I mean, if they really want to do it right then and there, and you got nothing, and they have everything, you just kind of got to take it like a champ. I mean, that's just the best. You just got to take it like a champ. There's not really much you can really do at that point. They really want to do it, you got to handle it and just take it like a champ.
Oh, my gosh.
At the end of the day, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you have that mental fortitude to say, hey, like, this isn't going to happen. Oh, I have a gun right now. I don't care. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. And then most people, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to want to take you on because they know that you're the mental fortitude behind you.
Or just even just looking at them.
Exactly.
Looking
Too,
at
I mean,
them,
so
just being like, no.
yeah, but
Yeah, like I feel like I just in that situation, best thing is to walk away. But
yeah, don't let your ego get the best of you. Sometimes you'll work out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can take that guy. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm not
you
a
just
big
have
bar-
that mental fortitude.
I'm
It's
not
just
a big
there.
bar guy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I don't like going to bar. I'm not a big club guy. I don't have my style and stuff like that. But a lot of times guys go to the Jack, but oh yeah, what's up, bro? And they act all tough and stuff like that. And then worst case scenario, you get a Conor McGregor. The guy looks like he can't do anything, but he is gonna mess you up like you've never seen in your life before. He's about to make you embarrass
The guy
you.
who's out there like starting bar fights, he started bar fights. Like he's done that before.
At the end of the day, I mean, people like that. I mean, they just want to look cool in front of their girl. And at the end of the day, if you want to look cool in front of your girl and you get put down, because I mean, you picked on the wrong guy. Just the way it is sometimes. If you want to be that cool guy that starts bar fights, one day, there's always someone bigger than you, and you're gonna meet that one guy eventually, and he's gonna put you down like a dog on the street. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. But what can I know we talked about what people expect from you in the future, selling more homes in the next 6 months, which is gonna be awesome. Come up when I come back.
Exactly.
You got 6 months.
Exactly.
I want to see what you can do in 6 months.
Exactly.
So I guess people will find everything. I'm gonna put it in the description. I'm starting to do that now. And then I guess you got anything else to say?
Just don't give up. Try hard. Don't give up ever. Just keep going hard every day. Don't give up. Don't let that little voice in your head win. Just keep going. Don't ever give up. Because the minute you give up, they win. That's just the way it is.
Who wins?
The other people, bro. The people in the world. There's always this. The thing is, the day you stop working and start hard, the other person's going to pass you. Thank you very much for stepping out of the way for me. So I'll pass you and I'll do better than you in life. That's just the way it is. The minute you slow down, the minute you stop, that person right behind you that was catching trail on you, you're going to step aside. You're like, thanks for letting me ahead of you. Have fun living a not so great life. I'll pass you every day of the week. That's just the way it is, man. If people pass you every day, if you don't stay hard, you don't stay locked in, people will pass you. There's always someone trailing 3 inches behind you. And the minute you stop working hard that one day, they're going to coast right past you. Thanks for making the road easier for me the whole time. Now it's my turn. And someone might pass him too, but at the moment, you gave up your lead because of the one day of, maybe I should have that cookie. Maybe I should just relax today. Come on, I don't need real estate today. I'll have to make phone calls tomorrow. That tomorrow voice in your head, tomorrow's going to catch up with you. And when it catches up, it's going to be a mean ride.
Well, shit. Yeah. Seeing that I guess that's a pretty good motivator. Seeing somebody right and just imagining that person that's right behind you.
I'll pass you every day of the week.
Right behind you, because you're always looking at the cheese in front of you.
Exactly.
The freaking I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna go get the fucking bread in front of you. But you're never thinking about the fucking bear behind you.
You lean down and you start huffing and puffing. You look right back up. Now the 4 other people are right ahead of you. And they're gonna get that cheese before you because you took that one day off. Yeah. That one day off ruined everything for you.
That's what my coach used to say. He was like never breathe like this. Always breathe with the head up.
Exactly.
Because if you got your head up, you're moving forward.
Exactly. When you have your head down, you're showing defeat. No one wants to show defeat. Who wants to show defeat? You always want to win. That's the way it is. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't want to win?
Shit. No, everybody
wants to win.
That's why you have to be different.
Exactly. If you want to win, you got to win. But you're not going to win every day. But you should have at least a majority. Mm-hmm. Try to have a majority. Exactly. That's the way it is.
Yeah, well, this has been freaking awesome, Jonathan. Let's go.
Of course, bro.
Shit, that was hard.
Hell yeah. Whew.